On January 7, 2026, a woman named Renee Nicole Good lost her life during a federal law enforcement operation in Minneapolis. Within hours, her name began circulating across news outlets, social media, and protest signs. Some called it a justified use of force. Others called it a tragic and unnecessary killing. But as the shock settled, one thing became clear. This was not just another headline. This was a story filled with unanswered questions, conflicting accounts, and a life that ended in the middle of chaos. Renee Nicole Good was 37 years old. Friends and family described her as a creative soul, a poet, a writer, a mother, and a deeply spiritual person. She lived a quiet life compared to the national attention her death would later receive. Those who knew her say she believed in compassion, documenting life through words, and standing up for what she felt was right. She was not a public figure. She did not seek fame. Yet her final moments would place her at the center of a national controversy. That morning, federal agents were conducting an immigration and customs enforcement operation in South Minneapolis. According to official statements, agents were attempting to arrest a target when a chaotic scene unfolded involving multiple vehicles and bystanders. Authorities claim Renee was inside a car and failed to follow commands. They allege she attempted to drive toward officers, prompting an agent to fire a fatal shot. That is the official version, but almost immediately, a different story emerged. Family members and witnesses disputed the federal account. They insist Renee was not threatening anyone. Some say she was simply frightened, confused, or attempting to leave the area. Others claim she was documenting the scene, possibly filming or observing the operation. When the confrontation escalated, these opposing narratives turned the incident into a flashpoint, raising a troubling question. What actually happened in those final seconds? Body camera footage was not immediately released. Surveillance angles were unclear, and as hours turned into days, the lack of transparent evidence fueled speculation. Civil rights organizations demanded answers. Community leaders called for an independent investigation. Protesters gathered, holding signs bearing Renee's name, asking why lethal force was used so quickly and whether it could have been avoided. To understand why this case struck such a nerve, you have to look beyond the moment of the shooting. Renee was not accused of a violent crime. She was not the subject of the ICE operation. Yet she became the only person who did not make it home that day. For many, that fact alone was haunting. Supporters describe her as a woman caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, someone whose life intersected with federal power in a way that ended tragically. Critics argue that law enforcement officers face unpredictable dangers and must make split-second decisions. Between these two sides lies a gray area filled with uncertainty, and that's where the mystery lives. Another troubling detail is how quickly narratives solidified before all evidence was available. Social media rushed to judgment, headlines hardened opinions, but investigations take time. And in cases like this, the truth often exists somewhere between official reports and emotional reactions. Renee's death also reopened a larger conversation in America about federal enforcement tactics, civilian safety, and accountability. How much force is justified? What responsibility do officers have to de-escalate? And what happens when innocent people are pulled into high-risk operations without warning? For Renee's family, these questions are not political. They are personal. A mother was lost. A daughter was gone. A voice that once wrote poetry was silenced forever. Regardless of where the investigation leads, there is no outcome that brings her back. As of now, multiple agencies are reviewing the incident. Evidence is being examined. Statements are being re-evaluated. And until every detail is made public, one reality remains. The full truth has not yet been revealed. Cases like Renee Nicole Good's remind us why stories matter, why details matter, and why asking questions is not an attack, it's a necessity. When lives are lost in moments of confusion and force, silence is the most dangerous outcome of all. Was this a tragic misunderstanding, a justified action, or a preventable death hidden behind official language? The answers may take time, but the questions will not disappear. And that is why this story continues to haunt the public. Not because of what we know, but because of what we still don't. If you want deeper investigations into real cases that remain unresolved, stories buried beneath headlines, and truths that refuse to stay silent, subscribe to Dark Mystery Files, because some mysteries don't end when the news cycle does. They only begin.